So despite my best efforts, I have a yard full of weeds. I basically have a yard with nothing but crabgrass. There's some Bermuda grass and some tall fescue, but more than anything, there's crabgrass and other weeds like that. And I want to get rid of these weeds. So I'm gonna do an experiment with some Ortho Weed Be Gone that's supposed to have crabgrass control. And I just want to document this experiment to see if it will actually kill the weeds. I'm applying today. This is July 29th. The conditions are right today according to what the instructions say. So this should be the best result I can get. And I want to show you what happens. So this is the Bermuda. There's a lot of weeds mixed in, but this is where a lot of the Bermuda grass is. You can see here where all the crabgrass is. I mean, there's just so much of this is really broad blade crabgrass, and it's everywhere. It basically just coats my whole yard. It's pretty terrible. There's no consistency when I go through my yard. I go from a bunch of crabgrass to patches of Bermuda to weeds that I don't really know what they are, but you may, like that, and then more Bermuda grass. And then over this way, we've got tall fescue. We've got tall fescue here in the more shaded areas. And I love tall fescue, by the way. I wish I could grow this everywhere, but it's a little bit too hot. I bought 2 massive refills of Ortho Weed Be Gone. And this is supposed to control crabgrass, supposed to kill crabgrass and dandelions. Dandelions are pretty much done. The clovers are pretty much done for the year because it's late summer, but I'm mostly working with crabgrass. Don't know if this is gonna work, but it's supposed to. I'm gonna be using the Roundup sprayer. This is just the general Roundup sprayer. It's got the pump top, and I'll demonstrate how to use it in a second. Links to all these products in the description so you can check them out for yourself. I do the fan spray, which is this one here. When you fan it out, it hits the weed a little bit better for latching onto that broadleaf weed and killing it. So that's what I'm doing. So let's go ahead and get started. I need to rinse out this, so I'm actually gonna go to my water hose here. You know, I've often thought having a weed man would be so much easier, like a kill your weeds in your yard kind of man. I guess there's lots of different definitions of a weed man, but that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about somebody who's gonna kill the weeds in my yard. I'm gonna go ahead and wash this out so that it doesn't, so I don't have any remnants of the last thing I did, which was poison ivy brush killer. I probably overfilled this, but I guess we'll find out. Spin it until it locks in real tight. I like to get tons of pressure built up, because the more pressure you get, the longer it's gonna spray. Now this is gonna spray with a fan, once it catches, it'll spray with a fan spray, and you can see it, how it's fanned out. And I just like to get a good coating and then move along, because you don't want to overspray and kill it. I mean, you want to kill the weeds, but you don't want to overspray and kill everything. Because this is supposed to latch on, the way this works is it's supposed to latch on to the broadleaf weeds and then not kill the regular grass. How it does that, I don't know. If you know, please leave a comment if you're an expert on fertilizer, weed killer, lawn treatment, whatever. But this is just how the product is supposed to work. And so the reason why you use the fan is because it makes the little water particles spread out and latch on to those broadleaf weeds and kill them. Right here I have a bunch of tall fescue, and you can see that there's patches of crabgrass and clovers. And so what I'm going to do here, where most of the yard I've just been doing strips, I'm actually going to spot treat this, and so go around to each one of these and spray it individually, just so that I don't waste any of this stuff on grass that doesn't need to be killed, like my tall fescue. And you can see it's kind of thin. It's been pretty hot. Hasn't rained a lot except for the last couple of days. But little spot treatments all around. Lots of crabgrass over here. You can see it's just everywhere in this little area. And as much as I don't love Bermuda grass because it is dormant so much of the year. I've got a really good patch of Bermuda here in my front yard that you can see, and it grows thick right now. The only problem is for about 6 months out of the year it'll be brown, and it makes the rest of my yard look brown. But you can see it right through here. This Bermuda is very thick and it's pretty green right now, and I'm glad to have at least some grass that isn't weeds. Much rather it be tall fescue though. This thing is tapped out, and I used every bit of those 2 refill things. This is a part of my yard I'm particularly interested in. I soaked these weeds. This is the back corner of my yard. There's all these little weeds. I don't even know what they are, but they drive me crazy. They look ugly, and they're over here taking over this corner of my yard. So I really soaked them. Very curious to see how this part of the yard gets cleared out. All right, so I'm done for today, and just to let you know what I've done so far, in addition to the Ortho Weed Be Gone today, the other thing that I did was a weed and feed. That was a granule weed and feed by Scott's, and I did it at the very beginning of the year, and that basically killed most of the clovers, but it didn't do much for crabgrass. So that's why I wanted to experiment today and see if I could get my crabgrass taken care of. I'll post an update as the weeds die. All right, so it's been a week since I treated my lawn. Let's go around and check out exactly what the Ortho Weed Be Gone did to my weeds. Here's a really good spot where it looks like the weeds have been killed. I was very interested in this corner of the yard because there's so many weeds, and it looks like it's been able to kill a lot of these kind of lighter weeds. You can see the browning through there, and even some of the crabgrass has discolored, turned yellow, turned brown, which has been nice. But some of these more difficult weeds that I was pretty annoyed at and targeting, like these right here, they're still pretty green. So we'll see. You can see that there's lots of yellow and brown and grass that has been, weeds that have been killed all throughout here. Definitely brown, definitely yellowed, which has been really nice. And you can see as you look kind of down that way, you can see lots of yellow and brown. And here's a great example of what it does traditionally to maybe more common weeds that are easier to manage. This was actually clovers when we started, and you can see how browned and dead it is now, which is really, really exciting to see. So after 1 week and after being able to see what the yard looks like, my assessment is I think I should have done this earlier. I think it's late summer. I think these weeds have grown to maturity. One of the things that the Ortho Weed Be Gone packet said is that you should apply this early in the year when the weeds are rapidly growing or in the process of growing. So definitely have next year. But I will say, for 1 week check-in, I feel like at least I can see some progress where it's browned some weeds and it's yellowed some weeds, and hopefully they'll go on to die so that my grass can thrive. So as always, the links are in the description. You can check out Ortho Weed Be Gone. You can check out the Roundup sprayer, which I highly recommend the sprayer. Don't know for sure yet about the weed killer. There may be better things out there. Leave a comment. If you like a particular weed killer and you have experience with it and you feel like it's the best, I want to hear from you. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos here on Suburban Millennial. Until next time, we will talk soon.